Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Superman has dropped by 54% during its second weekend, or thereabouts anyway. We don't have the final figures in yet. This is the sort of guesstimation. And that effectively means that by today, by end of play today, and the figures haven't come in yet, it should pass $400 million worldwide, which is not bad for its second weekend. That's not bad at all. If we're going to take what they say on face value, which I'm sort of remiss to do actually, but if we're to take what they say on face value, yeah, it didn't need anywhere near as what people are saying to be a success. However, looking at it objectively, yeah, $400 million is okay. This still needs to get somewhere in the region of 750 plus to be considered a huge success as to what Warner Brothers would be really happy with, really comfortable with. I don't doubt that, actually. So there's a few things, take it on face value, talk about it from that side, but then also talk about what we know from other films and kind of go from there anyway. You got to remember, Warner Brothers wasn't exactly quick to greenlight a sequel to The Batman, which did like $750, $800 million worldwide. They wanted that to be like $1 billion hit. So, the yardstick for most superhero movies are $1 billion. Take it or leave it. That seems to be what it is. So let's take a look. We've got this article here from Deadline, and we've got this article here as well. So we'll flip between the two of them. Please do hit subscribe if you are new here, though, guys, and turn the bell notifications on. Be great to have you here more often. So Superman's $57 million second weekend. Now, this was released this morning. So again, not up-to-date figures as yet, but they do some mild projections here. So effectively, DC Studios and Warner Brothers Superman has landed atop a second weekend of $57 million, which catapults the Burbank, California lot to the top of the studio domestic box office with $1.32 billion, higher than Disney 20th Century Studios at $1.27 billion. So that's not bad. Although Fantastic Four First Steps releases shortly next weekend, and that will probably be the number one movie, I would imagine. And by that point, it will then, Disney will then hit the top of the domestic box office charts overall. So this is interesting, though. It is genuinely an interesting turn of events. So Warner's has also had 6 movies open to number one, more than any other studio this year, with 9 weekends at number one. They've also had 5 movies in a row bow to $45 million plus, a first for any studio. Also, Warner Brothers has had more than 10 million plus grossing days this year, more than any other studio. And as of today, Warner Brothers has 34 days of films grossing over $10 million, which is great. It's great for them. Whenever I say this is great, like, I'm not championing the industry and these sort of mega corporations. That's not what I'm championing. I'm really happy that these movie theatre houses will continue, though, because you've got to remember, studios putting out absolute drivel have caused a lot, and it is a lot, of theatres to close down. So I'm happy that the industry at large will continue at the very least. So Superman's second ease is 54%. That's not bad as a drop-off. The average for a Marvel movie is 60. That's the average across a Marvel movie. So a second, 54%. Second weekend percentile decline on par with Deadpool and Wolverine. And better than the second weekend superhero holds we've seen year-to-date of Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World, which did 68% drop-off, which was brutal. So it does seem that word of mouth is what is pushing Superman to be successful. I say successful, I don't mean like it's, incredibly successful, because it's not yet. But that's what's pushing it to be not a complete bomb. So word of mouth remains excellent, with continued Screen Engine ComScore post-track polling showing a high definite recommend at 74%. That's brilliant. With parents at 70% and kids under 12 at 65%. Warner's is having a great weekend overall. The fourth weekend of Apple original films F1 is only down 23%. So, yeah, Warner Brothers wins lately. So overall weekend for all titles before Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps gives the summer box office another $100 million plus bump. And that's 135.2 million, which is 9% off, minus 9% off, from a year ago when Twisters opened to 81.2 million. So they've not done too bad. You know, you got the Paramount film here. I think actually what will be really compelling when Fantastic Four First Steps releases is looking at this objectively and saying, right, okay, well, did that do well or did it not? And if it didn't do well, that's not to say that people weren't going to the theatres, because they were. And that won't do well because, well, if it doesn't do well, it won't be doing well because people are checking out from these types of movies. And, you know, Marvel has kind of run its course a little bit. Who knows? I'm just guessing. You know, we're talking about it as a speculative. So this article here, like I said, 54%. And that is what they said, isn't it, here? It's what they quoted here, 54%. I mean, it's not bad. Again, their deadlines, sort of speculative numbers, are normally pretty bang on track. It's normally pretty bang on track. So as this article highlights here, the updated box office figures are in for Superman, and with a drop of only 54%, the DC Studios reboot is eyeing a $57 million second weekend in theatres, and that takes its current domestic cume to an impressive $235 million. It's okay. It still needs to be, you know, it needs a lot more to be profitable. So Man of Steel was the last solo outing featuring the character. For comparison's sake, it's worth noting that it dropped 65% during its second weekend with a $41 million haul, bringing its total to $210 million. Superman is very much in the same ballpark, albeit slightly ahead. So it's not a competition, but Superman outpacing its predecessor is good news, which is true. For DCU, as it shows there's still an appetite for the character and that the Kryptonian can still soar despite so-called superhero fatigue. I think there is. I do think there is superhero fatigue, because 9 times out of 10 superhero films have been crap. So it's a combination of crap movie fatigue as well as superhero fatigue. So through Friday, Superman's international box office sits at $142.8 million, which is actually really bad. Right? The international box office is terrible. That's terrible. That's just really, really bad. Like, it needs to be significantly more. Doesn't seem to be a film people are responding to worldwide, though. And that's where it's going to bomb, if it does bomb. So, effectively, this movie should break $400 million by Sunday, today, by the end of play. Which is not bad. It's not bad at all. And it says this: the Marvel Studios movie will hurt Superman, and it's likely to finish its run with upwards of $550 million, maybe $650 million. Too early to come up with a definite figure. Superman might just break even when all is said and done, but with a combined production and marketing budget of over $300 million, profitability seems doubtful, which is the case, right? I still think this film will struggle to reach those kind of numbers. You know, if it has a marketing budget and production budget of over $300 million, that's over $600 million just to break even. So, yeah, it may struggle. And it says this: ultimately, Warner Brothers Discovery will likely take comfort in having a DC movie which received positive reviews and wasn't a bomb. Quote, is there something riding on it? Yeah, but it's not as big as people make it out to be. They hear these numbers that the movie's only going to be successful if it makes 700 million or something, and it's just complete and utter nonsense. It doesn't need to be as big of a situation as people are saying, and that's James Gunn trying to debunk the $700 million break-even mark. Who knows? He's obviously going to sit there and downplay it. But this is not a bad second weekend drop-off. And it's good for the industry at large. So, movie theatres. Which I'm all about. Like, that's good. That gives people jobs. I don't want the movie theatres to die. I'm game for movie theatres. I just need movie studios to make the movies that support movie theatres. So there you go. That's it really. Not much else to say. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? You know, do you care or not? I guess is really the question. I myself want theatres to survive. So hearing this, yeah, I'm quite happy about it, to be honest. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.